What's going on, people? It's your boy, Stay Connected, people. Let me know what you want me to react to next in the next reaction video. Get me in to other people's reactions, other creators. If you want to see me watch any debates back and forward, any battle rapping, any sort of other things, different type of contents, let me know, people, what else to react to in the comment section down below. Let's get into this one right about now. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, people. Let's get into this one.
And somebody who like y'all forgave, which I did. I don't quite understand why you forgave this person. Pearl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just walk us through that decision of like thinking about, okay, Pearl, like at some point we were like, bro, you, we not forgiving you, but y'all eventually, I think like squashed it, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, like, look, you know, I think there's always, you know, at the end of the day, it's
I remember her as a guest watching that podcast when she first came on as a guest on that show. I remember that day.
internet. Nothing is really that serious. I mean, hell, I didn't like that you know, said those things about me, but we're having a discussion now because I can speak with people that I have disagreements with. So I think that's very important to be able to have discourse with people we disagree with. And then for her, it wasn't the worst thing ever. Like,
that's very true, man. You're not always gonna agree with people who, you know what I mean. You can agree on one thing and agree and disagree on another thing. I think we've gotten so kind of like, like, no, it's a conversation. We're gonna disagree and agree on a lot of things. Why can't we have that nowadays? It's just people are very sensitive about certain things.
I think she had said something about she didn't like how I talked with her ex-boyfriend when she came, which I can understand why she would feel that way. But at the same time, we had just had that like guy show up at the place, so obviously I was on edge. So
I talking about the angry reactions, dude. The big ass.
Yeah. She brought him there and she didn't tell me about it. Or she had spoken with other people on the team, but they didn't tell me, and she was supposed to tell me, right? But miscommunication, whatever. So I was like, dude, this is the end of the world, and you know, she apologized. So I was like, all right, man, like no big deal.
Now,
my issue with Pearl is more just the fact that I feel like at some point she just realized that she could just say the dumbest possible things on Twitter, and that would be like her path to getting attention on the internet. I feel like when I interviewed her,
she's really.
I can see why people would think that. It's like I was watching something and she was like having like a debate with like a female, and like she looked so baffled, like she looked very buffooned and stuff like that. So it made her look so stupid and like on camera. Like basically, I was thinking, huh? Nah, she just got schooled, didn't it? Yeah, but I get why people are very like, yeah, they're not with what she's trying to say, and she's just saying things just to say things.
Look at her rage baiting on Twitter.
Still like sort of reasonable, and then at some point it became like every woman who gets raped deserves it. It's just like every day she's like, I swear to God, I have seen her say.
Come on.
It might not have been exactly that, but it's super close to it. Like I've seen, it's just like every day quote tweet something.
I definitely see why people would say she lacks the rage bait.
Someone like every woman is stupid, and it's just like she's just like, I've never seen somebody so audience captured as her, where it just went from like her seeming like maybe not the brightest person ever, but at least she was a person, to just being like a robot that just had been programmed to just offend people for attention.
Here's where I think my talents would be actually developed and flourish if I was a manager. I can see before all happens to most creators, and just like Sneeko, I think she's a great creator.
Pearl?
Hold on. Let me explain. By copying what's already been done. That's what
Did she stopped uploading when she got demonetized?
Yeah. Well, she still uploads right now.
Oh, she does?
Yeah. But like she stopped for like a month though.
She helped us in the UK when we were.
She's live right now with 400 people watching.
There you go. With her studio. That was awesome for doing that back to me.
Yeah, it sounds like she wanted, because once upon a time she was doing that kind of like Freshandfit. Everyone was doing that. The boys versus the girls. Girls versus the boy versus the girls. That whole setup, innit? She was doing all that podcasting about men and women, innit? So yeah, everyone was doing that at the time, innit? Because it was very like popular to do and stuff like that. So yeah,
when she was popping.
Yeah.
So shelter her for that. But on the other hand, I think she saw a space which she can enter in, copy the formula, and do her thing. Which isn't a bad thing, by the way, because that's what a business person would do. However, long term...
Yeah, it's smart, but yeah, I get his point, Fresh's point.
I don't see her having her original points of views to make it last that long, in my opinion.
No, and she was like the darling for like a long time of like the Red Pill space, right?
To who?
Darling.
She might have wanted to be. I don't think she
she like
actually
debated
was.
like for C for however.
Look, I'll say this. I'll say this. She was able to get into certain situations, certain rooms that we wouldn't be able to get into as being a female. And look,
Being white.
you know, well, that helps too.
Yeah.
But like, you know, whether it's me that gets the message out there or her that gets the message out there, it's fine. It gets it out there.
Sure.
So I think that's very important. So, you know, we could have our disagreements and stuff like that, but I think in the greater movement and the greater scheme of things, her bringing awareness to the situation and hitting an audience that might not necessarily want to go watch us because we might be a bit more crass or more controversial, she may be able to convey that.
Yeah, I get his point in that because then, because Freshandfit are very, like, I don't want to deal with them. Like, they're a bit too ruthless. What they say hurts people, offends people. The way they're saying that hurts me. Like, you know what I mean? They're very,
in another nicer way and bring some other people.
It feels like we've seen so many people in the sort of like right-wing manosphere, whatever, like space who had a moment of attention on them, and then you look at them 6 months later and it just completely dries.
Another thing too that I want to bring to attention, right, that a lot of people don't know about is the Department of Homeland Security actually wrote a paper.
Damn.
Like they did a whole thing. You can Google it right now if you want, Adam, just so you know I'm not capping. Type in DHS Manosphere, and literally they wrote a paper and they identified a bunch of influencers that were problematic in spreading hate. It was us, Pearl, Sneeko.
This is on the Congress.gov website.
Boom. So you know I'm not capping.
It's official.
So they wrote that paper, right? And they had a whole like a hearing on this thing on TV.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was I noticed that all the Red Pill channels started like getting hit on the YouTube algorithm, not getting as much views and as much reach.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, Donald Trump on day one signed an executive order to stop government collusion with big tech to censor people. So hopefully we can reverse that, because that right there is the purest form of government intrusion onto American citizens to silence them and censor their ability to speak freely.
Yeah, there is a bit too much silencing nowadays, man. It's like, if it's true, it's true. If it's not, it's true. You know what I mean? I get certain things, like you can't just lie on people's name. Do you know what I'm saying, people? You can't just lie on people's name. I get that. But they also can do like a defecation. You know, when you're speaking wrong on people, like without, you know what I mean, any sort of like real valid like proof in it, like speaking on people's names, so defamation of character and all that lot. But why can't just people do that then, rather than censoring people? I think there should be like a boundary of something like that.
And they're colluding with big tech. Who did it? They did it with all the platforms. Then next thing you know, we get banned on Meta. We get banned on Instagram. We just lost our Instagrams like 2 days ago.
Again? Damn.
Again, bro. Yeah. This is like my 10th Instagram.
Yeah, TikTok too, right?
Yeah, and then this is after Zuckerberg literally said, "Oh yeah, we're gonna allow more free expression." Like, what the f- dude? Bullshit.
Yo, what's y'all take on MLK?
The declassification?
Because I think I heard like Charlie Kirk even speak on, even Pearl like posted MLK was a race baiter, he was bad. But then there's some more, I guess, like destructive shit coming out now where they claim that there's tapes of him in a hotel room, the audio of him laughing while a woman is being raped by another like Baptist minister.
Well, this is what I'll say about MLK. Long story short, he was a communist.
Yeah.
He was a huge adulterer, smashing all kinds of girls.
Well, white women.
White women too. Doing orgies, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Right. You know, the FBI had tried to blackmail him with this under the Hoover administration. So yeah, I mean, a lot of that stuff is true. We'll obviously see the full story of his assassination, everything else like that when everything is declassified. But yeah, man, I mean, a lot of the stuff is true. So, you know, we'll only see what happens. But this whole declassification stuff, bro, it's cat, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like the Epstein stuff, huge fucking blunder on that.
Oh yeah, I see like the list, but the list was just like what 70 something names or 100 names. I've seen even like Trump was on the list, right?
All right, let me go ahead and
wait. Okay, there is no publicly available evidence confirming the existence of tapes of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. listening to a woman being raped. This claim originates from controversial and unverified summaries of FBI surveillance records. The FBI closely monitored King as part of its COINTELPRO program, attempting to discredit him. Some reports suggest that FBI agents allegedly recorded King in private moments, and a 2019 article by historian David Guerra referenced an FBI summary stating that King may have witnessed or encouraged inappropriate behavior. So
yeah, well, here's the thing. Remember, they got to declassify it. They got to declassify a lot of that stuff. But the big thing, I'm guessing when the stuff gets declassified, what they're going to say is, "Oh yeah, we were investigating him because we thought he was a communist." Yeah. That was probably they're going to be their excuse as to why they're investigating him. Sense. But we'll see when it all comes out. But yeah, we all know that he was super sexually degenerate, but that's a whole other conversation. Now, when it comes to Epstein, let me go ahead and break this down for y'all very simply. This is what the American public needs to know that probably won't come out in the declassification. Simply put, Jeffrey Epstein was an intelligence asset for Israeli intelligence. Whether it's Mossad or Unit 8200 or whatever, he was 100% Israeli intelligence. His job was to compromise people of influence and power that can basically blackmail them. Fact. Right? One of the things, so this is how the scheme would work. The guy that financed him was a guy named Les Wexner, right? This guy's a Jewish Zionist billionaire who owns a bunch of different companies to include Victoria's Secret. There was another guy named Jean-Luc Brunel, who was Epstein's guy who would get girls for him. Then there was Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell would go to the UN, and she had all these powerful people that she knew. She was like an environmentalist with the ocean. She'd go to these UN meetings. Oh yeah, let's care about the ocean, blah, blah, blah. But it was all a ruse basically to get around very powerful and influential people. They'd have parties. Her and Epstein would show up. They'd have all these hot Victoria's Secret models because Les Wexner owned Victoria's Secret. And also, Brunel was a model recruiter. So he would have women of age and women underage. So they'd be at these parties that have these
That's wild.
Of age women there. People are like, holy shit, this guy has hot girls. Who's this dude? He's a billionaire. No one knows how he made his fucking money. He only had one client, which was Les Wexner, in his financier Rolodex, which was weird. But he'd be like, hey, you know what? You should hang out with us one time. You come to my house in Palm Beach, come to my house in New York City, come to my house in Nevada. I got a ranch over there. Come to my house in France. He had, or my island. He had all this money and all these places. So they'd show up. Next thing you know, there's girls there that are underage, give him massages and all this other stuff. Now you guys might be wondering, well, hold on, how did he recruit these girls? Well, back in the early 2000s and even before that, what Epstein would do is there were high school girls all over Palm Beach, and he would recruit one to do these massages, and then every time she would come, he would kind of like escalate it, and then he'd pay her a couple $100s and be like, hey, do you have any friends that you go to school with?
I remember this from the documentary, yeah.
Boom. So he'd recruit.
Yeah, wasn't that on the documentary, people?
Basically had a whole ring of girls that were underage.
I swear.
They would do these massages, and they would go to his house and service his clients and everything else like that. So that's how he had the girls. Now, he actually went to jail for this. Palm Beach and the state arrested him for this. Now, the FBI did investigate him, but what ended up happening was the attorney, the United States attorney for the Southern District of Florida, a guy named Acosta, he was told to stand back because Epstein was intelligence. And one of the things that Epstein would do is he would compromise these people and blackmail them. So like Bill Gates is one of the known people. What he would do is like, hey, Bill, this is what you're going to do. I need you to donate money to MIT, to their tech program. They donate money to MIT, in his name, of course. He would be there to oversee all the new technology and innovations they would get. He would take those secrets and give them to Israel. Because Israel has been stealing technology from us for a very long time. They have some of the best intelligence assets and best military because we fund them a lot, and the Mossad is very cutthroat. Literally, their motto for many years was, by deception, we create war. They're the kings of false flags, right? And blaming it on Arab countries and using the guise of terrorism. So he was stealing technology from U.S. universities that Bill Gates and other wealthy people would donate on his behalf. Wow. So that's just one example of how he would do it. But that's how the scheme worked. Wow. Now, the reason why they don't want to declassify this, because they're going to expose a lot of people in the Jewish Zionist line.
There you go, people. There you go, people, man. Let me know, people, if you want me to react to any more things like this.